Gunther targets Brock Lesnar. Jacob Fatu claps back at fans. Nick Khan helped Matt Cardona's return. Ronda Rousey still has WWE tension. Charlotte Flair shares life after wrestling. Tama Tonga reacts to the controversy. LA Knight finds himself in an awkward spotlight. WWE scraps creative plans involving Bron Breakker. Brock Lesnar's daughter suffers injury. So, subscribe and drop a like if you haven't already. Jumping straight in, Jacob Fatu addresses fans twisting his words, and this situation has been building for a while now. He isn't backing away from anything he said, but he is making sure people understand exactly what he meant, especially when it comes to that statement about being released. After his earlier remarks stirred up major reactions, Fatu spoke openly again during an appearance on the Babyface's podcast on March 26, 2026, and this time he didn't leave any room for confusion. While reinforcing how serious things are with Drew McIntyre, he immediately dismissed the idea that his interviews are part of some storyline hype for WrestleMania, making it clear that this isn't about promotion at all, it's personal. He explained that what's happening with Drew is evolving week by week, not building toward anything scripted, and that he's simply speaking his truth. Have you ever said something and then watched people completely misunderstand it online? How frustrating is that? He then tackled the biggest misunderstanding head-on, clarifying that when he talked about being released, he didn't mean it as a hypothetical scenario. Instead, he was speaking with certainty, emphasizing that if things escalate, consequences are real because of how seriously he takes it. He described it as someone interfering with his ability to provide for his family, which adds a deeper emotional layer to everything he's saying. Fatu went further by explaining that his mentality comes from years of grinding long before WWE, not from chasing fame, but from real-life struggles and responsibilities. He also pointed out how quickly the internet can twist narratives, turning simple statements into something completely different, which is why he felt the need to speak again. He made it clear he's not angry at fans, but he wants accuracy, because things can spiral fast online. Then he sent a direct message to Drew McIntyre, making it as simple as possible by saying every time they meet, he's going to fight him, no exceptions. That kind of statement doesn't calm things down, it intensifies them even more. Reports are now suggesting WWE is planning to take this rivalry all the way to WrestleMania 42, possibly inside Hell in a Cell, which raises the stakes significantly. Can you imagine how brutal that match could get if it actually happens? Moving on, Nick Khan's role in Matt Cardona's return has come to light, and it's a reminder of how much influence connections can have behind the scenes. Cardona is back under Triple H's leadership and now part of SmackDown, but his journey back didn't just happen randomly. While speaking with Cody Rhodes, Cardona explained how his wife Chelsea Green mentioned him during media appearances around the Royal Rumble, which led to Nick Khan expressing interest in speaking with him. That moment led to them exchanging contact details, and Cardona didn't waste time reaching out. When Khan asked what he wanted, Cardona made it clear he wanted to return, and from there, things started moving. It's interesting how one conversation can completely change someone's career direction, right? Have you ever seen a comeback story happen just because of the right person making a call? Shifting focus, Ronda Rousey continues to speak openly about WWE, and it doesn't sound like she's fully moved past her experience. Ahead of her MMA fight, she talked about her AEW appearance and described it as a subtle jab toward the TKO group. She joked about asking for forgiveness instead of permission, suggesting she knew what she was doing but wasn't too concerned about the consequences. It adds a layer of defiance to her personality and keeps her connected to wrestling discussions, even while focusing on other ventures. Do you think she's still holding on to frustration, or is this just her way of staying relevant in the conversation? Charlotte Flair, on the other hand, took a more reflective approach when discussing her future. She spoke about life after wrestling and admitted that while she isn't afraid of retirement, she knows nothing will replace the feeling of performing in the ring. She described it as a unique kind of high, something that's hard to replicate elsewhere. Instead of fear, she expressed gratitude for having found something so meaningful in her life. That perspective stands out, especially in a business where careers can change overnight. Do you ever think about what it feels like to leave behind something you truly love doing? Meanwhile, Tama Tonga addressed the fine he received for sharing behind-the-scenes footage, and his reaction was surprisingly relaxed. Instead of frustration, he brushed it off, saying it was worth it and that he's already moved on. He talked about finding his happy place and not letting setbacks weigh him down, showing a mindset focused on resilience. He even joked about always being in trouble, implying that situations like this don't really faze him anymore. It's a different way of handling consequences compared to what you might expect. How would you react if you were hit with a big penalty at work? Would you stress over it or just move forward like he did? LA Knight's situation adds a mix of concern and humor as fans noticed swelling in his elbow and connected it to a past injury John Cena dealt with. While that raised questions about his WrestleMania status, Knight responded with confidence, suggesting he's not going anywhere. At the same time, a viral clip showed him tripping over a barricade during his entrance, creating an awkward moment that quickly spread online. Even top stars aren't immune to those situations, and sometimes those moments make them more relatable. Have you ever seen a wrestling moment that was so awkward it actually became memorable? Speaking of missed opportunities, plans for Bron Breakker teaming with Tony D'Angelo were once seriously considered but never made it to television. The idea was to create a modern version of the Steiner brothers, but it was eventually dropped as WWE shifted direction during the NXT 2.0 era. Instead, both stars went on separate paths, with D'Angelo embracing his character and Breakker focusing on singles dominance. It's one of those what-could-have-been scenarios that always sparks curiosity. Do you think that team could have worked if it actually happened? Chris Jericho added another layer to the discussion by talking about his move to AEW and how it impacted the entire wrestling industry. He explained that his decision helped raise salaries across WWE, comparing it to a historical moment in hockey where one major signing led to better pay for everyone. He believes his move broke the ceiling that previously limited earnings for top talent, changing the financial landscape in a big way. He also mentioned that his rivalry with The Rock doesn't get enough recognition, even though he considers it one of the best due to their chemistry. It's interesting how certain rivalries fade from mainstream conversation over time. Have you gone back and watched older feuds and realized they were better than you remembered? On a more personal note, Brock Lesnar's daughter Maya is dealing with a serious knee injury, putting her athletic progress on hold. As a rising star in shot put, she's already achieved a lot at a young age, so this setback is significant. She shared part of her recovery journey online, showing determination despite the challenge ahead. Injuries like that test both physical strength and mental resilience. Do you follow any athletes who've made strong comebacks after injuries like this? Finally, the spotlight turns to Gunther and the growing speculation about his future, especially in relation to Brock Lesnar. There's been long-standing talk about a potential match between them, and some believe Gunther could even be the one to retire Lesnar. Analysts suggest it could work, but only if WWE avoids making Gunther predictable by turning him into someone who always ends careers. At the same time, reports indicate that regardless of other uncertainties, Gunther is expected to have a major role at WrestleMania 42. Even if plans change, the company isn't looking to leave him out, which shows how important he's become. A clash between Gunther and Lesnar would be massive, no doubt about it. Would that be your match of the year if it actually happens? All these stories come together to paint a picture of a constantly evolving wrestling world, where rivalries intensify, careers shift, and unexpected moments keep fans talking. From Fatu's raw honesty to Cardona's return, from Rousey's comments to Flair's reflections, from Tonga's attitude to Knight's resilience, from missed creative ideas to industry-changing moves by Jericho, from personal challenges like Maya Lesnar's injury to the massive possibilities surrounding Gunther, everything is connected in its own way. Each development adds another layer to the bigger narrative, keeping fans engaged and invested. Which of these stories grabbed your attention the most, and what are you most excited to see play out next?